Alright, so this is a little MAYTAG hit and miss engine I picked up at I guess just an estate sale slash yard sale type thing. It's a yard sale, but it was also an estate sale. It was in this dude's garage. I also got a 5 horsepower brakes and Stratton flathead from him. Picked up some pretty good stuff, but honestly, not honestly or obviously, this is just factually the coolest thing I picked up there. It's the coolest thing I picked up in a while. I'm gonna have to do some quick research just to figure out what this is again, but I think it's a MAYTAG 91. They used these on washing machines and stuff back in the day. Like it sat underneath it. There's a little foot pedal to start it. Alright, so just a correction, and even this could be wrong because, you know, I don't know anything about these. Looked it up. This is a MAYTAG 92 that I can look up. It's from the 30s or 40s. I'm sure there's a way to decode the VIN number and stuff on it, if I'm assuming there is one, and figure out exactly what year it is, but it's from the 30s and 40s. I'm not even going to say it's pretty complete, because as far as I'm concerned, it is complete. And let's go and do that. Here's your little, so this is a 2-stroke. I'm not sure what this is called. I'm not even sure if you call this a carburetor. But from my 15 minutes of looking up what hit and miss, or how a hit and miss works, all it is there's a governor that controls the exhaust valve. And that basically controls the speed. So this is spinning along, I don't even know how many RPMs. So this is spinning along more than likely with a little leather belt on it running to something. And once it drops to certain RPMs, the exhaust valve governor thing allows it to hit. And then it fires like a normal motor. And then it just sits there and rotates until it's at a low enough RPM to do it again. It's even got this cool little stand on it. Like the guy was going to take it to, there was a couple, actually not even a couple, there's probably at least 100 of these at the Threshers Reunion I went to a couple weeks ago. And they all just about had these little carrying handle just for show, I guess. I'm assuming this guy had this cleaned up at one point because he's got all these reproduced stickers and stuff on there. This one threw me for a loop because it says December 1925. I don't know if that's when MAYTAG was founded or what, but I don't think this motor's that old. Again, I think it's 30s or 40s. This kills your spark to cut it off. Right there. And I actually do think it has spark because I took the spark plug out. I'll probably do that here in a second just to show you how good the cylinder looks. And I was spinning this around and I was near this and it bit me one real good time. So I'm pretty sure it's got spark. It's got this sick exhaust on it. Like this sucker's straight piped. I'm assuming that, you know, all motors, I believe, like back pressure. So I'm assuming this has none of it. But it looks cool. So that's probably going to get shined up here before too long. Let's kind of spin this around. I'm assuming your magneto's in here. And that has something to do with your spark. You know, I'm literally a dude right now just using words that he's heard either from other YouTube videos or from people in real life. I don't know a clue what these words mean, but I do know magneto has something to do with spark. All right, I just cracked this sucker loose. Looks half decent. What looks even more decenter is the actual, oh, Amazon's here. Looks pretty good in there. But yeah, it turns over fine. It's got actually pretty decent compression once you put everything back together. So I think what the plan is first is, I'm probably going to clean it up first because for one, it's always good to clean. This goes for anything. If you get a truck, you clean it up first. That way you can see what you're messing with. And two, it also just gives you a lot more like inspiration to actually dig into it. Not that I'm lacking that with this. I just want to see it pretty. Also, I don't really want to, this is like mouse hair or something, I don't know, but like, that's cobwebs, but there's hair somewhere in here. I'm not a big fan of, you know, working around that, so I am going to clean this up first, so let's try to do that. I also just cleaned up the garage, so I'm going to try to catch as much of this as possible. Maybe not, that seems a lot harder. I'll just clean up again. I wonder if I could This would be a lot easier just to take this off this little stand. It's raining harder now. So that was just soap and water because I didn't want to use anything strong on this, especially the motor. I don't want to take any paint off. I got an email from the YouTubes, and since I was like a partner, they sent me like an email like 500 subs to join the partner program. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But of course, you can't make any money until 1,000 subs, which now I'm making a little bit of money off of these videos, which helps. But also, I got an email to join some sort of like thing where they're sending you like rewards for like appreciation for being partners. And I just got one, so like I don't know why I got chosen. Look at the rain. I got chosen to do that. So I got like a free Domino's pizza from it. They're sending me like a cool neon lamp. That's awesome. And I'm over here like, I just upload stuff that I'm usually doing in the garage anyways, and now I'm getting like cool stuff from it because people find it interesting enough to watch. Or some people find it interesting enough to watch. So that's pretty cool. So thanks for that. I got a free Domino's pizza because of y'all. I don't know what I want to use to... Well, I guess that'll work. Again, I don't want to take any paint off because paint's pretty cool. What is that? Oh, it's a spring. How do you get that off? Okay, that doesn't come off. That needs to, because that's disgusting. I might put a new one on there. Is that a gasket? Wow. Anyways, bought this under the state sale. Got the guy who just passed away. I paid $30 for it, if I remember right. It was more of it's like a thing where we kind of just combined a bunch of stuff for one Mondays because you get it cheaper that way. But I'm just getting all the loose stuff off before I spray it down because then it just turns into mud when you do that, and that's icky. Alright, so I'm just going to start scrubbing this. That's kind of boring to watch. So I'll come back when it's kind of shiny. Maybe when it's cleaner. I don't know. I may not be any cleaner, but yeah. Alright, so there's some, like, I'm assuming brass bolts on the back of this that hold like a little air mixture screw thing on. So, you know, I can't leave stuff looking like that. So I've got some white diamond here on a rag, and I've started the nut into my drill like that so the head's sticking out. And I'm just doing that for a little bit. And off. Just gonna hit it again. Then wipe it off. And that's what that looked like. So that one didn't clean up the best, but the rest of them have so far, so that's what I'm doing. Well, here's the bolts I was talking about. I think they actually look really good. They're chewed up and stuff, or some screwdriver slipped. That actually wasn't me. Usually that stuff that happens like that is me, but it's not. Also shined up this little lever thing. Again, all I use is some of that polishing stuff that I like pretty good. And I also put a new hose clamp on the exhaust, put it down here, or like the thing down here. I think that looks a lot better. Also shined up the exhaust too, because you know, it was halfway shiny. I gotta make it all the way shiny, and I did. I think that actually looks really good. The motor itself, I think it cleaned up actually pretty decent. Can't really tell much from back here, but there's no hair and stuff on it. It looks really good. So I mentioned earlier that I had taken this off before. I don't even remember why I did that, to be honest. But I have decided to go ahead and take it off again because I just watched a YouTube video on one of these. And what he did is he took it off just to make sure like the pickup tube and stuff wasn't blocked. And he actually had some silicone where someone had, I guess, taken the head off. I'm assuming this is what you call the head. And they used silicone, and it made a whole mess in there. So I just want to make sure nothing funny like that happened to mine before I even attempt to fire it up. Here's the side of the gas tank. Actually looks pretty decent. And earlier when I took this off, I did stick a camera and stuff in there, like one of those bore scopes, just to look. It's like, there's a little bit of trash right there I probably need to try to get out, so don't let me forget about that. And there's the piston. These batteries are dying in this light. There's the piston. That's your crank with the little cute bolts on there. Up there, that's where the guy's the silicone was at, blocking that passage. I don't see anything, and honestly, I can't tell you what that passage does, but it looks fine. There's that cute little piston all the way in there. So yeah, everything looks good. So I'm gonna dig into this next. Real quick, here's the that 5 horsepower Briggs I got at the estates I was talking about. That I actually got running. It needs a carburetor because like the butterfly thing in there is so wore out. It's just a huge vacuum leak. So probably not going to dig back into that until I need it. I think that'd be pretty cool on like an old go-kart or something. Also forgot to mention that these stickers did come off. They're not original or anything, I don't think. But it was actually looking pretty bad anyways. But I was going to keep them on there. But you know, the stickiness has unstuck in over a while. So that is supposed to be wound all the way in and then backed off a half a turn. So that seems about right. This is the actual pickup tube. That just unscrews. That I'm not sure what it is, but I'll take it out anyways because the guy in the YouTube video did. Just broke that loose with adjustable. There's that little plunger that I'm assuming has something to do with the air mixture. Also decided I'm in here, I might as well make this look even more prettier. Got some goof off. I'm going to try to get all this nastiness off that won't come off with just soap. Already you can tell that it looks a lot better. So I'm going to hit that real quick. And then while I'm here, oh, that's plugged straight up. I'm glad to take that apart. Okay, well that was an issue, so I'm glad I took this apart. So this is topped up like I mentioned. I've got this, so actually you to clean a like paint gun. Feels like I just broke through like a bunch of crud right there, just shoving it in. There we go. I don't know if you can hear that, but I did break through a little bit. Also just figured out that this little bit down here unscrews. Okay. That's better. So I ran these through a couple times again, and then I just shot some like brake cleaner through it, and it's a lot better. Wow. See how close I got that? It was right at the 16. No, it's not. It's off terribly.
Should I go eat a hole through it?
The plastic? Mm-hmm. I wondered if the gas would eat it, but it was also 97 cents.
But find out.
Well, my reasoning was the gas jugs are plastic.
They said plastic, probably. They'll use styrofoam container.
Yeah, well, this is plastic.
Styrofoam?
It's one.
I like the
It's 1 ounce of oil.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 16 ounce. That's blue. What is this? To 16 ounces of gas to 1 ounce oil. I didn't know what kind of oil to get, so I just got the cheapest one. I didn't taste it. I could have. This little shot glass was 97 cents, and it didn't have a barcode on it. You know how hard it is to buy something without a barcode these days?
Yeah.
No one knows what to do.
Or they look it up on their app. That's fun.
And then the tomatoes I was talking about, Casey. None of the cash registers had weights for the tomatoes. I went through 2. The third one finally did it. You put it on the weight scale, Casey, and it just doesn't do anything. I'm not kidding. I spent 30 minutes before you showed up trying to check out. There's a drain hole in this. I need to check that.
Yeah, before you flood it.
Oh, that's awesome. It's on the base, so I can't see it. I didn't. Well, that means it has to be in there. I'm gonna say it's fine.
What's its fuel capacity?
I don't know.
Trying to find out.
I'm gonna say it's enough to take all this. Ah! It did something.
It did something.
It tried to bite back. There you go. Oh, well, it likes to bite back, don't it? Maybe you won't less it. I don't know. Yeah, maybe you want more. You beggar. All the way, sure. Why is it squeaking so much? That sounds
It
terrible.
spits some mean smoke rings.
Oh yeah, these smoke like crazy. Yeah, that sounds terrible. Why is that? That was like at least 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Now watch, as soon as I turn the camera on, it's not going to do it.
Is something hitting or why is it screaming?
Yeah, it'll work. See you heard the squeaking stopped.
Yeah.
There you go. So I was doing some pondering on this last night. It's the next day. It's still raining, trying to. And I determined actually two things. That is that I'm thinking about this situation completely wrong. The air mixture thing, whatever. And I also mentioned that I said something yesterday like it was idling too fast or something. And that's actually not true at all. The first one plays into the second one. That is that this right here. So this operates just like a little air mixture screw. And for some reason, I was thinking that when you open this up, which is that way, it's going to let more air and more fuel in there. Actually, it's going to auto hire. That's not true at all because the governor, which is actually behind that little service panel right there, controls the idle. Nothing else does, I don't think. Again, I could be wrong on that too. So that controls the idle. This, all it does is controls how much fuel is going in there, and all it's doing is controlling your mixture. So what I'm thinking is that little mixture screw needs to be backed out a couple turns, which means that little triangle bit has to come off, because it's not allowing enough gas to get into the combustion chamber to make a big enough boom to keep it running consistently. Also, another reason I think that is I was reading a forum yesterday, and it didn't make any sense. The guy was having the exact same issues. It would run for maybe 20 seconds on a good day, and then it would just quit. And he also mentioned that it felt like it was hitting way too often. Like mine yesterday basically just sounded like a little two-stroke, I don't know, like a little motorbike. It was constantly hitting. And then he mentioned that the constantly hitting was its way of telling you that it wanted more fuel. And I'm like, that makes no sense. So I just disregarded that. And then I started thinking about it. That makes perfect sense because this thing isn't getting enough gas into the combustion chamber to make a big enough boom to keep that, spinning faster. So it's having to hit more than it missed. So it's having to fire a lot more often than it should, which makes it seem like the idle's high, but it's actually too low, if that makes sense. All right, let's see if this thing wants to do anything this morning. I'd say this morning, but let's be honest, it's close to afternoon, but it's summer, so I can sleep in as late as I want. Makes me wonder if I've lost spark somehow. Alright, let's check that. Gas is getting up here somehow, so I don't think vacuum's an issue. What I do think is an issue is spark, because I took this little inspection cover off, and right here's your points. And where I'm shining, look how off-center that point is. Right there, right where the light's shining. That's not even remotely close to where it's tapping. So I'm thinking we just have weak spark. And I'd rather not take this flywheel off. It's not hard to do, but I don't know. I don't think I have enough hands to torque it back. So I'm going to try to see how it is, even if I can adjust that, because that can't be good at all. So ignore the air conditioner running because it's hot out here. But I'm thinking if I loosen those two flatheads right there, I may be able to wiggle this around, because those two flatheads have a little piece of metal that loops down, And then over to what I think right here is it's connected to the points. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. I'm thinking if I loosen those two up, I should be able to tweak it that way. And I can't get in there with anything, so I rigged this up to try. It's just a 1/4 inch wrench with a flathead bed on it, so let's try that. That makes me feel good at how loose that was. That may be why it shifted over. If this even is adjustable like I'm thinking it is. Why does that not fit? It fits there. And like I mentioned, this flywheel does come off pretty easily. Just, I'm imagining you have to torque it back, and I don't think I have enough, again, hands here to hold this while I torque it, so. How does that work? What's that connected to? That's loose, but okay. Well, this was a fail. That didn't work at all. I guess back to, what is that? That's loose right there. I don't know. That doesn't work at all, so I'm gonna tighten those back up. That's not at all what that's connected to. That's good. All right, so I cleaned the points, and I also cleaned in between that bit right there. And I'm gonna see if I can get the spark to show up on camera. It's a lot brighter, so I'm hoping that was just the issue. I don't know if any of that showed up, but trust me, it's brighter. Alright, let's try it again. There we go. Instantly started smoking out of it. Out of the exhaust, I mean. Just weird, because it at least wanted to do something yesterday. Alright, I was just messing with it off camera, and I don't know what I did, but just had a pretty decent little breakthrough. Probably not right, so let's see if it wants more fuel or something. Seems happier. The squeakiness of yesterday has quieted down a ton too. See how it wants to restart. There you go. So earlier I mentioned that I didn't think it was getting enough gas. Correction, it was getting way too much gas. So what I did, and what actually worked really good, is I went ahead and put just a drill on that crank over there. and just turned it over a couple times just messing with this, and I had taken that off and I ran it all the way into closed. I let it sit here and idle until it started to rain, and then I towed it over here, put it on the front porch, which is harder to do when it's, 5,000 degrees. You try not to burn your arm on the exhaust and everything. So what I'm gonna do now is, this thing is completely cold, it's cooled off. I'm gonna go out there in the driveway, try to start it again, see how it does cold. I feel like it's gonna do just fine. So I'm gonna do that, and then that's probably gonna be the end of this video, because this went a lot smoother than I thought it was going to. So yeah, thanks for watching.